Hi guys, this is O-Level Chemistry, paper 11, November 2021, question 31. Different metals react with water in different ways. Which statement is correct? Calcium does not react with cold water. No, calcium does. Calcium reacts with water, producing calcium hydroxide and releasing hydrogen gas. So this reaction does take place in cold water. So statement A is incorrect. B. Iron reacts slowly with steam to produce an oxide of iron and hydrogen. Yes, this is called rusting. So iron reacts with steam or other H2O gas to produce an oxide of iron and hydrogen. The oxide of iron is Fe2O3 and hydrogen gas is released. This statement is correct. C. Magnesium reacts with steam to produce magnesium hydroxide and oxygen. No. Magnesium would react with steam producing magnesium oxide and hydrogen gas, not magnesium hydroxide. So this statement is incorrect. And D. Sodium reacts with cold water to produce aqueous sodium oxide and hydrogen. No. Sodium would react with water to produce NaOH and liberate hydrogen gas. So the reaction with water does not produce sodium oxide, it produces sodium hydroxide. This makes option B the correct option for this question. Question 32. Metal X is more reactive than zinc but less reactive than sodium. Okay. What would be the best method for obtaining metal X from its ore? It is more reactive than zinc but less reactive than sodium. Okay, so electrolysis of an aqueous solution of a salt X. If we have an electrolysis of an aqueous solution of salt X, hydrogen gas would be produced. We will not be able to obtain the metal. Electrolysis of a molten oxide of X? Yes, because it is a molten oxide. There is no other substance present along with the metal and oxygen. So metal and oxygen would be produced. C. Heating the oxide of X and hydrogen. Uh, Reaction will not occur because X is more reactive than hydrogen. And D. Heating the oxide of X with powdered carbon. Powdered carbon reacts with oxygen, not oxide here. Because if we heat it with carbon, then it is not necessary that we obtain the metal and CO2 is produced. This is not confirmed. So D is incorrect. This makes option B the correct option for this question. Question 33. Steel is often galvanized. Which statement about galvanizing are correct? Galvanizing makes a steel alloy? No, it just coats steel. It is sort of a sacrificial protection. So galvanizing protects the steel from being oxidized, whereas the zinc coated onto steel gets oxidized. So it is not required in making a steel alloy. Two, galvanizing provides a sacrificial protection against rusting. Yes, that is what galvanizing is for. And three, galvanizing coats a layer of zinc onto steel. Yes, that is what galvanizing is. So, statements 2 and 3 being correct, option C is the correct option for this question. Question 34. In the extraction of aluminium from aluminium oxide, the following three reactions take place. Al3 positive ions are reduced to aluminium, oxide ions are oxidized to oxygen, and carbon burns away in oxygen. This carbon is present at the positive electrode or the anode. These are carbon brushes that serve as the anode. So, which reactions take place at the positive electrode? Positive electrode being anode. So, anode is where oxidation occurs. So, aluminium is being reduced. So this reaction will take place at the cathode, not the anode. Oxide ion is being oxidized to oxygen. This is taking place at the anode. And at the high temperatures used, the oxygen gas being produced reacts with the carbon brushes of the anode, which are burnt away as CO2 and need to be replaced frequently. This makes option D the correct option for this question. Question 35. The carbon cycle regulates the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Combustion, photosynthesis, and respiration are involved in this cycle. How do these processes affect the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? Combustion results in producing carbon dioxide. So it increases carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So options A and B might be correct. C and D have been eliminated. Now, photosynthesis uses up carbon dioxide because carbon dioxide and water are reacted to produce glucose and oxygen. So the amount in the atmosphere should decrease and not increase. So this eliminates option A, making option B correct. But let's look at the third column as well. Now, in respiration, we have glucose being used up by oxidizing it in oxygen, producing CO2 and H2O. Because CO2 is produced, it increases the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. This makes option B the correct option for this question. Question 36. Which statement about alkanes is correct? Alkanes are described as being saturated because they are insoluble in water. No, saturated compounds are ones in which the carbon is forming four single bonds with four other atoms or group of atoms, not because of its solubility. Next, alkanes react with chlorine in an addition reaction. No, that is what alkenes do. Alkanes react with chlorine in a substitution reaction. C, the alkane containing 10 carbon atoms in each molecule has a higher viscosity than the alkane containing 20 carbon atoms. Now, viscosity is based on the mass of the compound. If an alkane would contain 20 carbon atoms, its mass would be greater than the alkane containing 10 carbon atoms, which would result in the viscosity of C20 being greater than C10. So, this statement is incorrect. And next, the formula of an alkane with 35 carbon atom in each molecule is C35H72. We can calculate that using the general formula of alkane, which is CnH2n plus 2. So the number of carbon atoms here is 35. So C35H would become 2 into 35 plus 2, which is 35 to the 70 plus 2, 72, giving us a formula of C35H72, which is the same as the one given, making option D the correct option for this question. Question 37. The structure of compound X is shown. Okay, so X is an alkene having 4 carbon atoms with 1 carbon atom being a substitute group. So 1, 2, 3. 3 carbon alkene. This is prop vanene, and on the second carbon atom we have got a methyl group. So this is 2 methyl prop 1 ene. Okay. 4 statements are made about compound X. X burns in air to form carbon dioxide and water. Yes, it is a hydrocarbon. It will burn in air to form CO2 and H2O. Next, X turns bromine water from colorless to brown. No, 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 no. Alkenes will convert bromine water from brown to colorless. So this statement is written in the wrong direction. X is propene. We have just named it. It's 2-methyl propanene. It is not propene. And next, the number of carbon-carbon single bonds is increased by reacting X with hydrogen because hydrogen will add onto the double bond, forming 2 single bonds. So number of single bonds would increase. So statement 4 is correct. So here statements 1 and 4 are correct, making option B the correct option for this question. Question 38. When ethene reacts with steam to form ethanol, Which type of reaction is taking place? So we have water adding onto the alkene. So adding onto alkene means it is an addition reaction. So A is correct. It is not a fermentation reaction. It is not a polymerization, and it is not reduction. These are different reactions which have nothing to do with ethene reacting with steam to form ethanol. So option A is the correct option for this question. Question 39. Which compound could be a flavoring in a non-alcoholic fruit drink? Flavoring agents are esters. So we need to identify an ester. A has the OH group making it an alcohol. B has the COOH group making it a carboxylic acid. C has a COO group making it an ester. And D has again an OH group making it an alcohol. So the correct option for this question, which is ester, is option C. Question 40. P is a polymer that has 6 carbon atoms in each of the monomers from which it is formed, is not a polyester, is formed using condensation polymerization. What is the partial structure of P? So first of all, let's look at the bonds present. In A, we have got an ester bond present. And the second point says is not a polyester. So if an ester bond is present, this is incorrect. B has an amide bond present. C has an amide bond present. Presence of amide bond indicates that these are condensation polymers. And D does not have an ester or an amide bond present, making D an addition polymer. So A and D have been eliminated. Now we will identify which of these two polymers are correct based on the number of carbon atoms in the monomer. So we have to identify the monomers. So if we start from this point and you see the amide bond here, so this is one monomer between the two blue lines, and the second monomer starts here with this red line and ends here. And for C, we have again first monomer starting from here and ending here between the CO and NH group of the amide bond, and the other one starting from that exact location and ending at this point. Now we need to count the number of carbon atoms. So in B, we have got 6 carbon atoms in between, one carbon atom on the left and one carbon atom on the right. So 1 plus 6 plus 1 gives us 8 carbon atoms. And the statement in the question, the first statement says has 6 carbon atoms in each of the monomers. So because there are 8 carbon atoms present here, the structure is wrong, making C the correct answer, but we will count the number of carbon atoms nonetheless. So here in between the two blue lines, we've got 4 carbon atoms, one on the left, one on the right, making a total of 6 carbon atoms in the monomer between the two blue lines. And between the two red lines, we also have 6 carbon atoms present, which makes option C the correct option for this question.